Dobbs drops back, fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee.
Tennessee wins!
Caught it by Tennessee. Jawan Jennings. What a turn of events.
Give him 6.
To the checkerboards. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Rock Solid Sports, the only show with a home field advantage for UT Athletics. Here's tonight's host.
I don't think my mic is working, to be quite. Oh, wait, I fixed it. I think we're having some connection issues. Okay, my mic is working now. Perfect. Great introduction, Chloe. Welcome into Rock Solid Sports. It's Friday night. I'm your host, Chloe. I'm here with Alli in the studio. Glad to have her on StreamYard. I have Jace and Jacquez. Glad to have them as well, especially in this, this busy Christmas season time. Like, everyone is with their families. It's super busy. So especially grateful that you guys are able to be with us on this Friday night before Christmas. How are y'all doing tonight?
Doing well. I've been stuck. We moved into this house a couple years ago, but still haven't been able to fully renovate everything. So I'm still sleeping in a princess decorated room. So besides that, things are doing all right over here.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I couldn't sleep last night. I ended up waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I called my mom. I said, listen, I'm finna hit the road 6 a.m. and just go on drive back to South Carolina. So just got back to South Carolina, took a nice nap, and now I'm here with y'all.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure you guys are glad to be home as well. How about you, Alli? You're not home. Well, you're close to home.
I'm close to home. I'm only from an hour away. But honestly, break has been wild, dude. Imagine having like transmission problems like this entire break and trying to drive on campus in a car with really bad power steering. That's 5 times the size of my original one.
I don't want to imagine that.
Yeah, you'll see how I parked when we leave.
I'm excited to see that, but it's all right. I'm glad you're staying safe. I mean, I hope you're staying safe with your car issues.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What happened to your car, your regular car?
The torque converter went out, was sending foreign particles and substances into my transmission. So it's like a $9,000 fix.
Oh.
Yeah. It's okay, though.
You have a car.
I have a car. I'm so grateful for it.
That's something. Something else that is something, we'll jump right in. We'll start out with some college football. We have so much to talk about tonight. Got to save time for NFL, especially because it's a lot. Vol football, not much news. Obviously, on Wednesday, we went over signing day, recruiting stuff. So, long story short, Josh Heupel can recruit, in fact. Citrus Bowl, however, inching closer, as we all know, a week from Monday. Versus Iowa. Supposed to be a low-scoring game. Iowa has one of the best defenses in the country. We'll see how that goes. I mean, as far as Tennessee football, just for something to talk about, while we're pretty much close to being a week away, do you guys agree with that? Any predictions, any score predictions, any predictions in general for this Iowa game? I think, Jace, you're going down to Orlando.
Yes.
What do you want to see from the Vols?
I want to see us, put up some points against what is a really, really tough defense. And for our defense to maybe make some stops against a team that's not as good offensively. Of course, we've had trouble stopping teams that aren't very good offensively. Like through the air at Kentucky, Leary threw all over us. And now we've got 7 guys in that defensive back position that have hit the portal on us. So it's going to be a really young crew out in the defensive secondary. So that's one thing I'm kind of scared of is Iowa throwing the ball all over the field against us. So hopefully we can stop that. If we can do that, I think we should be able to win. As for score prediction, I think, like you said, I think it will be low scoring. I think that the Vols will take it somewhere close to like a 20-13, 20-10 type of victory. Really, really boring game, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's kind of agreeing with here. A boring game. I mean, if it's a boring game, I hope at least that it's a satisfying game, right? So now because if it's gonna be boring, I at least want the Vols to win really bad. But we'll see how it goes. At least if it's boring, the Vols aren't gonna be like beaten down or anything like that. That would be, I guess, the worst case scenario here
Mhm.
in my humble, extremely biased opinion. But we'll see how that goes. Anybody else thoughts on Iowa versus Tennessee?
I mean, as it sits, Iowa does have a better record when it comes to the regular season. You know, they are 10-3 and we're 8-4. But honestly, based on everything that I've been looking into, I've never really much paid attention to Iowa, so I haven't been delving too much into this.
Yeah, well,
But
they haven't been good.
Yeah, there's not really much of a reason to.
I know. But
You
in
were missing
reality,
anything.
I think it's going to be a pretty fair fight, though. I mean, I really do hope that we get our head in the game and, we get that ball going down the field. But, you can never tell with us. You can never tell because, like,
Look.
I thought you were making a pun. I'm sorry. I was laughing at down the field. Jacquez.
wait,
No, I was saying, look. When we think about Iowa hasn't played nobody all season. They played Penn
That's
State
true.
when it was ranked 20 and Penn State was ranked 10, and they got blown out. If I'm not mistaken, they got beat 31-0. So now we're talking about coming in against an SEC team that's bigger than them by a large all over the field. I think Tennessee blows them out 35-0, maybe 35-7. I don't think they could stand a
35-0.
chance.
35-0
I don't think they can
with-
stand a chance though.
But with our defensive backs in that state right now, and of course their offense is horrible, right? But still, we have to take into account that we've got so many guys that have like little to no experience that are going to be playing on Monday, and then like it's just a storm of bad things that always seems to happen to our team, and this feels like it could be one of those just like low scoring barn burners to where like you're clinching all the way till the very end. That's just the kind of atmosphere that I'm thinking we're going to be seeing.
But look though, you got to think the same guys that's getting ready to step up and play now are the same guys that's been practicing against our starters. You know what I mean? Like the whole season. So I really think this is I believe they prepared. You know what I mean? Like you've been practicing against starters. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like
That's true.
I feel like they're gonna blow them out.
I mean, I guess, yeah, because I mean, you're practicing against these SEC level talent guys, and you see that Iowa offense, and it's just little to nothing all year. So, I mean, I do get what you're saying there. It's just something is itching in the back of my brain that says, "Oh, there's a very good chance that Iowa puts up 30 on us for the first time this year."
30.
I don't know. It's just something about this game really scares me, and I'm really hoping me and my dad going down there isn't just really going to disappoint and have us hanging our heads all the way back up here.
yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here watching, waiting, praying.
It'll be something.
I'll be down in Orlando. I'm really excited. I'll be there with band, of course, but I'm expecting, like you said, I think that this game will be close for sure. I think Tennessee gets the win. I don't think it will be as I'll say Tennessee wins by maybe like a solid two touchdowns max. That's what I might say. I could see that happening for sure, like a safe win. Not quite Tennessee, not quite the Orange Bowl last year, but not quite the Music City Bowl the year before. I say a solid safe win for sure for Tennessee in this one. I think that Tennessee definitely has the ability to run up some points on Iowa. Like Jaquez said, it was a good point. When Iowa does play some of those top 10 teams, it's not good for them. But as far as Tennessee, I think that this definitely could be a good game for them. I think that they'll score a little bit more than people say, but not 30-0 or anything like that. I don't know about that one.
But look though, if you look at their conference, nobody in their conference has won over 10 games. Literally, the most games they won, Northwestern and Wisconsin went 7-5. So they ain't playing nobody all season. And then when they finally played Penn State, which can be a powerhouse team, Penn State put the works on them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. 35-14. That sounds better. Did Joe Milton opt out?
I think that's a little better. I don't think we've heard anything about Joe
I haven't
Milton
heard
yet.
anything about that.
Oh yeah, we good.
Yeah, I think we'll see Joe mainly in action. I would like to see Nico go out there. Granted, that'll probably only happen if we get up by about 3 touchdowns in the second quarter. But seeing Nico come in, maybe sort of a passing of the torch type of moment. I think, like you said, with with Iowa just being as bad as they are on offense, there is a chance that we do see that.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely would rather Joe play, of course, but wouldn't mind seeing Nico. Last year, of course, we were kind of all nervous at the Orange Bowl with Joe going in, so it would kind of be that similar situation. But I really hope that he does go in because I will be actually really nervous. Nico, no shade towards Nico. Like Nico, we've seen some great moments from him, as we all know. But I mean, I don't know. I think that needs another off season, another summer before I'm quite confident come 2024 season. But we got some bowl games that are happening this weekend. Right now, we have Georgia Tech and UCF are playing. For as far as this game, if the score hasn't changed, yeah, UCF is up right now in the first quarter, 14-0. So Georgia Tech, really exciting for their fans. They got a bowl game this year. Haven't been too great in the years past, but they had 6 wins this season, so they were able to go bowling. As far as this, I think UCF has this game. They've already been dominant in the first quarter, but we'll see. Georgia Tech has had some crazy moments this season, for sure. Cough, cough, Miami. So,
Yeah, I mean, UCF they're kind of on a skid right now. I think I saw something earlier where they had lost like 5 straight games coming into this one. So, Malzahn being able to get up early against the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech, that's pretty big. Uh, but yeah, I think I had them picked in that thing that our friend Jack Foster, former member of the show, now graduate, had us do with his gig with Always College Football with Greg McElroy, putting in picks. I did pick UCF, so that one's holding it down right now. Hopefully that stays that way. But yeah, I think UCF can definitely hold on against a Georgia Tech team that didn't really wow me too much this year.
yeah. Anyone else?
What's kind of crazy to me is that you would think Gus Malzahn would go down to UCF and turn that program around, considering that he was at Oregon. I'm not Oregon, but he was at Auburn for a few years. But he has not been doing that good at UCF, and that's pretty surprising that they are 6-6 on the season. That's pretty shocking. I thought just as a head coach when he was at Auburn, I thought he was a really great head coach.
Yeah, especially coming in like after those few years where like they claimed the national championship after beating Auburn a few years back in whatever bowl game that was. And they have several 10+ win seasons in those early mid to 2010s. And they have that rolling in, and then you've got, of course, Gus Malzahn, a tried and true coach at Auburn. I think was he there whenever they won that natty with Cam Newton? Was he there, or was he like right after that?
I think he was right. I think he was right after that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's one of the two. But he's a guy that's seen success in the SEC, and then seeing him go to a Group of Five, which is now a Power 5 school, and maybe his highest wins per season was like 8 or 9 games. Seeing him not live up to that expectation that we have seen is a little questionable. But UCF picking up one here, maybe that rolls over into next year. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see as well. That is an interesting thing. As far as games on Saturday, there's a lot of them. Not a lot, but there 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 numbers, 7. But as far as these go, not super a lot. James Madison is playing a team that was undefeated for quite a while this season, but they're playing Air Force. I personally think that they'll win by a lot. I don't think that will be that good of a game. But as far as any games this weekend, we got Troy and Duke, Arkansas State, North Illinois. That's, of course, Arkansas State. Butch Jones is there. James Madison and Air Force, Georgia State and Utah State, South Alabama, Eastern Michigan, Utah Northwestern, Coastal Carolina, and San Jose State. Will you guys be tuning into any of these games on Saturday? I'll probably be more tuning into NFL, but if any of these stick out, any of these could be a good game.
I mean, maybe you can throw in that Utah Northwestern game as being something to watch. Maybe even the James Madison Air Force game, because Air Force had a good run at the start of the season too, but they kind of dwindled off at the end of it. Those two have potential to be really good. Thankfully, they're in 2 different time slots. So if you wanted to watch both, that is a good option. But like you said, I think the NFL slate is going to be much more watchable, especially since we're winding down the season. There are only 3 games remaining per team right now. So things are getting really close, and it's really going to be a fun last few weeks.
And that's a lot for me to say. I'm a huge college football person. So for me to be
Mhm.
like, I'm going to be watching NFL, it's the beginning of the bowl season. But there's been some good ones. The famous Toastery Bowl was kind of wild. So you never know.
What
Jaquez-
even is the famous toaster?
I looked it up. It's a thing in like North Carolina. It's like a breakfast place, like a
Oh.
breakfast restaurant or something. I was intrigued by the name as well.
What is it? What?
Famous Toastery. Famous Toastery.
Whenever I first heard that, I thought somebody was making it up and like trying to find a different way to say Pop Tart Bowl, because there is a Pop Tart Bowl.
Yeah,
I thought they were just trying to switch that around, but
I thought maybe
Uh,
it was like a knockoff toaster strudel brand or something like that.
I mean, yeah, like maybe like a Pillsbury Doughboy Bowl or something.
Yeah, something like
Mm.
that. No, Famous Toastery. It's just like a place local to wherever that was over in North Carolina, a breakfast place.
That
Yeah,
most
I'd-
people have never heard of.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, I
Okay.
looked it up and now I know. So point being made, there's been some interesting games nonetheless so far, but these smaller bowl games. But any other bowl games that you guys will be watching, Jaquez?
I got my eyes on one. I got my eyes on Coastal Carolina and San Jose State. They're both 75 on the season. If I'm not mistaken, Coastal Carolina is second in a conference, and San Jose State is like third in a conference. And I think these are two, like, I won't say a powerhouse team because they're 75, but these are two really good programs ran by two really good coaches. So I would like to see them go at it to see who's the best in their little conference, But yeah, that's the only one I got my really eyes on.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm gonna
Oh.
be snowboarding, so
You're
I'm
gonna be
just
snowboarding on Saturday?
yeah.
Okay,
So I'm just not.
that's awesome.
I definitely do want to like check in for the James Madison Air Force one though,
Mhm.
because that does just like it kind of feels like it might be a good game.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
James
think
Madison.
I think maybe another one, maybe that like South Alabama game, because they came in early this year. They were hot. Ended up, didn't they beat Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State very early in the year? A team that turned out to, you know, they made the Big 12 title game. A team that made some noise later in the year. So seeing them, and they boat raced OSU earlier this year. They put up like 50 plus. It was bad. Uh, Granted, they finished 6-6, and they're playing Eastern Michigan, but maybe we see some fireworks going on Saturday.
That's true. You never know. That could be exciting. Let's see. Really quick, I guess we'll go ahead and do this, guys. We have time. Which New Year's Six bowl game do you guys have locked in, and which one are you going for the upset for? Looking ahead right now, we'll go ahead and start talking New Year's Six. Why not? I don't really have a pick, so I don't know why I asked the question. I guess I should have done that ahead of time. But yeah, looking at these, of course, New Year's Six games, very interesting, very interesting. Slate for sure, because as we know, Georgia and Florida State both playing each other, not in the playoffs. Yeah, Alabama made the playoffs over Florida State. Obviously, the biggest story coming out of the college football playoffs. Alabama would playing Michigan, Washington State playing Texas, and then you got Georgia playing Florida State. So definitely very intriguing. There's a few other games in there, but those are obviously the New Year's Six games. A lot of us are looking at the college football playoff. Everyone that was eligible for the college football playoffs. Is there a game in here that you think is there a team that you all think is going to be upset in any of those?
I think by like spread wise, right now Michigan is favored by 2 points. I personally think Alabama is going to win the whole thing, just because I think that's kind of how it's been falling into place. Just in my mind, it's like a perfect storm for them. They slip up early to Texas. That's a big thing in this one, because it's hard to beat a team twice. And I think this Alabama team has really found their footing uh, towards the end of like the last 3 or 4 games. Granted, they had a little bit of a slip up, almost slipped up big time against Arkansas and Auburn. Both games, they both really came close to losing them, but they found a way. They beat Georgia, the number one team in the country, all year long. And again, like Jacquez was saying, Michigan plays such a lighter schedule. They play Penn State, who they're always going to beat. Penn State has always lost to Michigan, and Ohio State, who has been kind of on a downer against Michigan these last few years. That's 3 straight for Michigan this year. So I think Alabama can swing that around and make their way to the national title game. And I think they're going to play against Texas. I think Texas beats Washington, and then I think Bama beats Texas in the national championship. That's just how it seems to fall in my mind, and I think it's just going to stay that way.
I think that makes sense as well. My thing was I thought that if Georgia makes it, and that Georgia, at any point has to play Michigan, I thought that Michigan would have beat Georgia. That was my like hot take all season. I think that Georgia had like too many mistakes and they got lucky with a lot of their games, which they did. But Alabama, however, I think is going to beat Michigan just because of the way Alabama is and the way that they've been able to perform at the end of the season. In my mind, that's how I see things falling too. I think that now that Alabama made it into the playoffs, I think that Alabama beats Michigan. And I do think that they go on to the finals. So I would have to agree with you there. And Alli, you're nodding your head as well. This Bama girl, come on now. I'm just kidding.
Hey, that's a war crime.
That's
dude.
fighting words.
That's fighting words. No, I mean, soft spot always for Bama, and I do really, really want. If we're gonna have one team win, and it's not gonna be us, I want it to be Alabama.
Jeez,
Tell me I'm wrong for that all you want. Tell me.
For Jacquez, no, she transferred here from Alabama. That's why.
So you rolling, roll tide.
Hey, I followed the money. I came home though.
Okay, I got you.
But no, honestly, I completely agree with everything y'all are saying based on Alabama's performance towards the end of this season after their few little mess ups. It's just the way it like kind of goes with them. They're gonna pull it out at the end.
Look, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're
Go
good.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. When I'm looking at these games, when I'm looking at Michigan versus Alabama, I think Michigan, every time Michigan makes it down to the playoffs, like Michigan never finished. Like they just never finished. As a team, like how we said earlier, they're a good team in the division, but when it's time to play against the real boys, they can never finish. And I don't think as a team they will be able to finish. So I think Alabama beats Michigan because Alabama is a different team. When Texas and Alabama played earlier this season, Alabama is not the same team that they are right now earlier this season. And when I think Washington versus Texas, I'm really banking on Washington because Texas haven't played, in my opinion, nobody all season. I mean, they played one good team, Oklahoma, and if I'm not mistaken, they got beat by Oklahoma 34-30. And other than that, I mean, they beat Alabama at the beginning of the season, but that's it. But when you look at Washington's schedule, Washington played Oregon on 2 separate occasions. Oregon is really good. And not even to mention, they also play they just play Oregon 2 times. And Oregon in this conference was a powerhouse. So I think Washington proving that they can beat Oregon 2 times. I think they roll over Texas because Texas haven't played nobody or this fast-paced offense all season long. So I'm looking forward to Alabama versus Washington, and I'm just hoping that Washington continues their Cinderella story.
That would be good as well. Washington is one that I think earlier I said Washington State. I'm sorry. I don't know why the Cougars were on my mind of all teams, but I meant Washington. Washington is one that I've kind of been like on the fence about just because obviously they've had some great moments this season. They're obviously one of the best teams. They obviously deserved, I think, to be in the playoffs, but also, they've just had their moments. They've also had those moments where you're thinking like, are they actually good or is it like, who have they really played? But I think that, at the end of the season, I think they deserved it. So I am definitely, if that's a team that's in the playoffs that I'm intrigued to see, it's definitely Washington, how they go against the top teams in the country. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think them coming in there, especially 13-0. I think it'll be a really interesting matchup with Texas. Like I said, that one could be like one of those 52-50 games. It feels like that's brewing, and I think we are going to see that. But something about Texas just pulling out just seems to I don't know, something about them this year. I hate to say it, but Texas is kind of back, and then they're going to be thrown right in to the SEC mix. So maybe that being back mentality will, kind of kick it once we get to the new season in July.
Yeah. Absolutely. And when that will move on, we got to get through college hoops and then NFL, of course, like we've been saying. A lot to cover today. We'll be right back to talk about the men's game versus Tarleton last night. Not a lot to talk about with that, but they got SEC play coming up. So do the Lady Vols. So stay tuned. You're listening to Volunteer Radio 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock. The Rock thanks Cool Beans, 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting Monday night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans is the campus headquarters for food, brews, pool, shot starts, sports, and more fun. Tuesday night is team trivia night, and Thursday nights are for bingo. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page for more info.
The Rock thanks the UT Athletic Department and the Lady Vols basketball program for their support. Coach Kelly Harper and the Lady Vols 2023-2024 home schedule includes games against Notre Dame, Ohio State, SEC foes, and more. AllVols.com. Student ticket info is at bigorangetics.utk.edu. That's TIX. The Rock says, "Go Lady Vols."
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from the UT Athletic Department. The 2024 baseball fall season runs February into May with games against SEC rivals Georgia, LSU, Missouri, and more at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. AllVols.com. Students need to show a valid ID at the gate before entrance. Tune into Rock Solid Sports for UT baseball coverage, and The Rock wishes Coach Vitello and the Base Vols good luck on the diamond this season.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from the Knoxville Ice Bears professional hockey team. The Ice Bears' next game on home ice is today, Friday, December 22nd, versus Birmingham, and this Saturday, December 23rd, versus Quad City. Face-off started at 6 p.m. at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum downtown. Ice Bear tickets are at knoxvilleicebears.com or 865-525-PUCK. Tune in to WTK's Rock Solid Sports for Ice Bears news. Volunteer Radio says, "Go Ice Bears."
The Rock receives support from Fieldhouse Social, sports games paired with cold beers in reach in University Commons. Fieldhouse Social offers a diverse menu of tavern foods such as pulled pork nachos, the Fieldhouse Cobb salad, and the Applewood smoked chicken wings. Kick back and relax in the lounge. FieldhouseSocial.com.
Hey there, this is Imogen Heap, and you're listening to 90.3 The Rock, where music matters most.
The Rock thanks Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team for their support. Their 2023-24 home ice season from October through April includes games with Fayetteville, Huntsville, Roanoke, and more at the Civic Coliseum downtown. Single game and season tickets at knoxvilleicebears.com. Rock Solid Sports features Ice Bears Wednesdays with news and updates. Volunteer Radio says, "Go Ice Bears." Volunteer Radio thanks the UT Athletic Department and the men's basketball program for their support. Coach Barnes' 9th season on the Summit includes home games against Kentucky, Vandy, and more at Thompson Bowling Arena. AllVols.com. Student ticket info and login is at bigorangetics.utk.edu. That's TIX. Volunteer Radio says, "Go Vols basketball."
Hi, this is Derek and Rob from the Funhouse. It was brought to our attention that our show and the things that we do could be seen as childish and not funny, sophomoric, vapid, stupid, and a complete and utter waste of time.
We strive to bring you the most entertaining radio that we're capable of each and every week.
So won't you please continue to support us and the station? Tune in every Friday night from 8 to 10 p.m. only on 90.3 The Rock.
The Funhouse, syphilis free since 2013.
Stop by the Funhouse Friday nights from 8 till 10 only on 90.3 The Rock.
The Funhouse is proudly sponsored by Raven Records and Rarities in Happy Holler, providing Knoxville with vinyl and more for nearly 40 years. And by ScruffyCity.com, your downtown destination.
Welcome back into Rock Solid Sports. It is Friday night. I'm Chloe here with Alli in the studio. We got Jacquez and Jace on StreamYard, and we are just having a dandy old time down at WTK Studios. We're going to get back into the sports here, of course, with Lady Vols and men's hoops. We'll start with men's because they played last night. Tarleton State They won 65-46. Obviously, this was expected as they should win. But yeah, I think overall takeaways from this game, I think Zakai Ziegler might be back, if not basically back, because great performance in this game overall, and he had great performances in the games before this as well. So after going out with an injury last season, we know he's been working really hard all season. He was the high scorer in this game, followed by Vescovy, key players, but pretty much almost every Vol contributed in some way, either rebounds, assists. That's what I really love about this team. All the players, it's, usually in the years past with Vol basketball, we got some guys on the bench that you never see. But this year it's been really exciting to see everybody kind of get in there and have to contribute. So it's been really awesome seeing that. They got SEC play coming up, but next up is Norfolk State, another one they should win on January 2nd. Should be a solid win. That one's here in Thompson Bowling Arena at Food City Center at Thompson Bowling Arena. Still not used to it. And then SEC play starts January 6th with number 25 Ole Miss. Should be interesting. Before we get into SEC play, anybody got comments on Zakai or this Tarleton State game?
Not too much totally on this Tarleton State game besides, second half, we kind of just sleepwalked through it. We didn't see too much going on offensively or defense. Well, defensively, yeah, we played well in both halves. Only gave up 21 in the second half, so things speak on that. But man, it's just turnovers and just sloppy decisions always seems to shoot us in the foot, and that continued to happen. I will say throughout the season so far, one guy that I've been really excited about seeing for the most part, granted he did miss 10 shots last night, was Josiah Jordan James. He seems to have been that veteran presence that we've been waiting for to step up. As Vescovy, maybe a little bit of decline, maybe he's starting to pick it up back now. But at the start of the season, of course, we didn't see what we are used to seeing of him, but being able to see Josiah Jordan James just tearing it up. He had a double-double last night. It's really great to see him finally starting to hit his stride, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been having good games lately. Like you said, Josiah is someone who's a veteran, been here a while, but we've seen him, be kind of like hot and cold, inconsistent, I guess. But when he's playing good, Tennessee basketball is just good. It's just a fact. So I'm also really excited to see how good he's been doing as well. Like you said, Vescovy had a good game last night, but recently, been kind of, like I said, hot and cold. But we'll see if he ever gets to hit his stride as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this team is finding their niche in and out each week. One thing I'll tell you about this Tarleton State team, this team is not a pushover team. When it come down in March and they get an opportunity to get into that tournament, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a Celerina team. Cinderella team. I'm so sorry. Scott, I wouldn't be surprised if this team come out of nowhere and end up being some top teams. I'm sitting down there recording on the court, and let me tell you something. This team is a real physical type of team. Like, they was actually playing with Tennessee, and it's like for a second Tennessee was almost struck because I don't think Tennessee was expecting this team to be able to be playing like this on last night. But Ziegler, man, for 2 games straight, he's been finding his niche, and you can see him starting to get comfortable. You can see him starting to take shots. Earlier in the season, he would pass the ball off, but now he's starting to get hot. He's starting to, it's like his swag is almost coming back. You know what I mean? He went through the legs, came back, and shot a 3, and looked at him. I said, oh yeah, his swag is back. So I'm excited to see Ziegler. And like I said, Jordan James is another one. Like you said, like he's been really finding his niche, taking shots, and it's good to see Ziegler and Jordan James stepping up because I didn't think Dalton Connect had a good game last night. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all was watching, but as Dalton Connect was coming off the bench, the head coach and Dalton Connect evidently it was exchanging some words, and Dalton Connect really only had 23 minutes. If I'm not mistaken, he averaged like a good 30. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to see that we got other players on the board that can step up and crash the board when they need. But I think this Tennessee team needs to be more consistent through the whole game. You know what I mean? Because the Tarleton State started hitting shots in the last 3 minutes when they came back down by 6. I think Tarleton State would have probably pulled it out, you know. But I just think they just need to be more consistent throughout the whole game, especially coming into SEC play.
Yeah, that's one thing that this team has like seemingly always struggled with, at least from like a fan perspective. We get on like these runs, where we can't miss, or we'll be shooting like 80% and we'll be getting our own offensive boards for like 5, 6 trips down the court. And you're like, man, we're about to blow this thing wide open. Next thing you know, we get 8 minutes scoreless with 2 free throw attempts, both missing, and just can't make a stop on the other end. So, like you said, that consistency is really going to have to start coming in soon, especially with, like you said, SEC play is really coming up on us really fast.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of SEC play, Ole Miss, of course, after Norfolk State on January 6th, we got Ole Miss here in Knoxville. Definitely should be a good one. I think everyone for sure has this one circled. Number 25, Ole Miss, Chris Beard, head coach. Um, it's a good story for sure because Ole Miss is a team that in basketball. I mean I know for women's they've had a really young team for a while and now they're finally getting good. But Ole Miss and men's is definitely good this year, especially because SEC, in my opinion, this year is not as good as it usually looks for men's. It's a little bit less competitive, but I'm really excited for this Ole Miss game. A, it's here in Knoxville. B, it's going to be a difficult team. I mean, Tennessee has already played the best of the best with Purdue and Kansas. Um, but I think that this Ole Miss game is definitely going to be a challenge and will definitely tell us some things about Tennessee, especially going into SEC play. How do you guys feel about Ole Miss and any other SEC teams down the stretch that you guys definitely, I don't want to say are worried about, but definitely think could turn out to be a challenge for the Tennessee Vols?
I am glad that this game is at home. Ole Miss has really been strong so far this year, not slipping up too much. Granted, they haven't played the caliber of teams as the Vols have. With us, we took some losses to Kansas, Purdue, both ranked 1 and 2 respectively at the time, and then on the road, North Carolina is never an easy matchup. Had some big wins like ones at Wisconsin and here at home against Illinois. So I mean, this team is as battle tested as anybody in the country right now. So I think Ole Miss should not be a terrible game for us. It should come out with a win, of course, with the talent that we have. No doubt, should be a win. Some teams that I'm really looking forward to seeing us play this year. We get Alabama and Kentucky twice. Those are 2 teams that I'm really looking forward to playing. Alabama, of course, just lets it fly from three 24/7. They don't stop shooting once they start. And they've, last year they were the number 1 overall team in the country heading into the tournament. And Kentucky's always going to give us a really good one. They're always a solid squad full of young guys. So should be really interesting this year, especially because, I mean, there's only, like you said, not many ranked SEC teams right now. It's us, Kentucky, and Ole Miss, and that's it right now. So, I mean, throughout the season, we should see more kind of pop into that top 25. But those are 2 teams that I'm really looking forward to right now.
Jacquez?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't think Ole Miss has played anybody this year. As I'm looking at their schedule, they only played one good team, and that's Memphis. And Memphis is ranked 23, and now, if I'm not mistaken, they won by 3 points. So I'm not too worried about Ole Miss whenever they play them coming into the new year, because one, like how you said earlier, like Tennessee has played 3 of the top 10 teams, and when you play 3 of the top 10 teams, that means you have already seen the best. That means you have already played the best, so you know the type of team that you can beat. And Ole Miss has not seen none of that. So I think Tennessee will actually be Ole Miss challenge, understanding that we're playing in the SEC and anything can happen any given day. But I just don't see Ole Miss running over Tennessee, considering that we didn't play 3 of the top 10 teams. And so I'm excited to see how this game's unfold. But one game that I'm looking for is really just the Kentucky game. You know what I mean? It's another top 10 team. And I think by the time they get an opportunity to play Kentucky, I think Tennessee would be a different type of team. I think they would be a complete team. I think they will already hit their stride. They will already get the little icks out. So I'm just excited to see come February 3rd at 8:30 p.m. Tennessee take on Kentucky.
I'm excited for Kentucky as well. I think that's the obvious answer here. Kentucky's a team that, like, in the past few years with Tennessee, I feel like is either I feel like every Kentucky game with Tennessee has either left me like devastated and disappointed or like really happy. And it's obviously because we won or lost, but I feel like there's no telling what's going to happen. It doesn't matter how bad or good Tennessee is. It doesn't matter how bad or good Kentucky is. this rivalry, especially in basketball, runs so deep that anything could happen. It really is like that in basketball with Kentucky. So I'm really excited. I always am excited for the Kentucky game. Like I said, no matter how good Tennessee is, it should be a good one. And this year, I don't know, I'm feeling pretty good. It should be a good one. Like I said, Kentucky's back to being pretty decent again. So we'll see how it goes. And the way Tennessee's playing this year and the way Kentucky's playing this year, I think that it's set up for it to be a really great game. So there's that. Women's basketball really quick. Play Liberty on New Year's Eve before the Lady Vols play SEC play on Thursday, January 4th with Auburn. Lady Vols this season, they've had their troubles for sure. They lost to MTSU, haven't really beat any teams that I would say would make a good win so far this season. So the SEC for women's, in my opinion, looks a lot different than the SEC difficulty for men. You got South Carolina. South Carolina is always, for the next couple of years at least, going to be a powerhouse. So that's obviously really challenging. But really just all these SEC teams, I'm really worried as far as the Lady Vols. I'm really worried about these SEC teams, even the unranked ones, giving the Lady Vols trouble just because they're all good basketball teams. At least most of them, even Auburn, of course, Kentucky's good. And I'm just worried that all these teams, they all have the ability to be ranked at some point in along the season. So I don't know about the Lady Vols, how well they'll do playing these games. Hopefully, they'll get some wins at some point, but overall, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just not super optimistic. I'm not super optimistic about it at this point. But anything could change along the season. Rakia Jackson is back. Obviously, biggest story out of Lady Vols basketball during this week. So with Rakia Jackson, things could completely turn around. And I don't like, I'm not super. What's the word? Like, I don't feel super safe when a team has to rely on one player like that. But if that's what has to happen, Rakia Jackson being back is definitely a good thing for the Lady Vols. And I think with her, we could definitely see some wins along the SEC stretch here in the next month.
I think we'll see a couple wins. I don't think we will see many wins because if you look at it right now, there's some teams on there that are Texas A&M, a team that has won a national title within the last 15 years in women's basketball. Same with Mississippi State over the last 10 years, they've won some. Vanderbilt right now is 11-1. Ole Miss is 9-3. Those are all coming up at the end of January. So that's kind of a 4 straight gauntlet for those last 2.5, 3 weeks of January. So I think we'll be able to scurry away with a couple SEC wins, but not much. Anybody taking bets on if Kelly Harper's going to be here with us next year?
I think personally, and Dominic, the wrong guard, has different opinions.
Okay.
I think that the nail in the coffin would have to be, and I don't want to, this would be really, really bad, which is why I think it would be the nail in the coffin, is if they do not make the tournament this year, because they have made the tournament every year that they have been a program. And if that didn't happen, it would be really bad. Right now, she's definitely on the hot seat. She's definitely on the fence. Like you said, I think that in order for her not to be on the hot seat, they need to win some of these SEC games. It doesn't have to be South Carolina. It doesn't have to be LSU. It doesn't have to be those big names women's teams, but they definitely need to get some SEC wins. And if they go, in the SEC with a losing record, I think she's definitely still on the hot seat. It's not going to look good.
Yeah, I totally agree. I definitely agree. I think them getting ready to play Liberty is their last opportunity to get it right as a team. I do believe when they play Wofford, they look better because Rakia Jackson was back on the floor. I don't know if it's just her presence being on the floor or what it is, but they did look better. But I think them going into SEC play, I don't know. I got a good feeling that they get ready to hit a stride. Like, I don't know. I think it just may come out of anywhere. You know what I mean? I really think they go get ready to hit a stride because the way they play to get a Wofford, they play real tough. They play real physical. And I get an opportunity like before games to see them because I set up cameras and stuff like that. But I get an opportunity to see them practice and stuff like that. And these girls practice super, super hard. Like, I'm talking about hard. And you talk about they practice hard before a game. So I really believe that they're getting ready to hit a run. I think they just have to find a niche. I don't think they would be South Carolina or LSU, because those are two powerhouse teams. But I think every other game is up for grabs if they come in with a mindset of that they are good enough. You know what I mean? With Kelly Harper, everybody is looking forward to her to be gone. But I don't know. I'm gonna give her a shot. So I'm gonna give her a shot. But we gonna see. But I do think they'll make a good stretch coming into this SEC play.
Alli.
I mean, I'm not the most hopeful at the moment because I did go to the EKU game and they were, finally got back on a win. But in reality, they're not what they used to be. The program has really just changed. And I'm really just I don't even know how to formulate my words for this because Kelly Harper has the heart for this team, but clearly something's not going right with what she's doing. And if we don't, you put that out there, knock on wood, that we don't make the tournament, that'd be what? That
definitely has to be the end, right?
That would
be
nail in the
I mean,
coffin.
I think she's gone anyways.
Maybe.
But just from her performance so far, because who in their right minds is with the talent level that should be the Lady Vols basketball program? Why are you winning by 9 against Eastern Kentucky? Why are you losing to MTSU? Teams like that should be not really in contention with us from a program standpoint. Beating us or either keeping it close, that shouldn't be on the question, especially when it comes to the donors and stuff. That stuff should not fly, in my opinion, as the fan that I am of Tennessee athletics. It's just it's almost nearly unbearable to watch how that program
I agree
has
with you
become.
wholeheartedly. Whenever I learned that we lost to MTSU, what?
Crazy. Yeah. That should never happen.
We have such great potential with these girls on our team. They're at a big school playing for a well-known team for a reason. They need to have a certain set of leadership in order to help them become winners.
Well, the thing you're saying about all those donors, the thing is they especially, if more things go wrong, most of them, remember Pat, were there for Pat. I remember Pat. I was a kid. I didn't know men's basketball existed. That's how big Lady Vols were in this town. But they remember that and it was yesterday. So you think, I don't know. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah, I think they need to get past the mindset of having to keep the coaching tree under the umbrella that was Pat Summit.
Yeah.
We got to get that out of here.
Got to go outside of family.
That won't win games. That won't win championships. If you just go with people who were either coaching or playing under Pat Summit, that's not how things work. You go out. There's so much money sitting for that program waiting to be used and bring this program back to life. Just bring in the best coach that you can, throw whatever amount of money you need to, and things will change like that. Like that. It'll be so quick. It's just, these homers need to just get over it.
100%. It's the Lady Vols, for crying out loud, I would agree with that for sure. We got to take a break. We only got 10 minutes left to talk about NFL. I said I was going to give us enough time, but we'll have enough time. We'll talk about Thursday Night Football. We'll pick some games here. There's a lot happening. We don't have time to talk about all of them, but we got to cover it. It's going to be an exciting weekend. We've got a lot of playoff contenders playing this weekend. Stay tuned. You're listening to Volunteer Radio, 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
The Rock thanks Cool Beans 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting the Monday Night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans is the pre- and post-game location for UT football and Knoxville's home for the NFL Sunday Ticket, Titans on the big screen, and more. Rock Solid Sports kicks off Monday Night Football with the shows live from 7 to 8 p.m. at Cool Beans. Cool Beans is 21 and over after 9 p.m. with a full and late night menu. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page.
The Rock thanks Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team for their support. Their 2023-24 home ice season from October through April includes games with Fayetteville, Huntsville, Roanoke, and more at the Civic Coliseum downtown. Single game and season tickets at KnoxvilleIceBears.com. Rock Solid Sports features Ice Bears Wednesdays with news and updates. Volunteer Radio says, go Ice Bears. Volunteer Radio thanks the UT Athletic Department and the men's basketball program for their support. Coach Barnes' 9th season on the Summit includes home games against Kentucky, Vandy, and more at Thompson Bowling Arena. allvols.com. Student ticket info and login is at bigorangetics.utk.edu. That's TIX. Volunteer Radio says, go Vols basketball.
Support for WUTK comes from Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. Fieldhouse Social serves American craft fare such as burgers, wings, and more with high tops around the bar, a separate dining area, and a center lounge with leather chairs and couches in front of their 23-foot LED TV wall for Tennessee and pro sports. Fieldhouse Social is an outdoor patio with trivia twice a week and sponsors Wednesday's Rock Solid Sports. FieldhouseSocial.com.
Volunteer Radio thanks the UT Athletic Department and the men's basketball program for their support. The Vols basketball team's next home game versus Norfolk State, Tuesday, January 2nd at Thompson Bowling Arena at Food City Center is at 7 p.m. General public ticket information for UT basketball is at allvols.com. Student ticket info and login is at Big Orange Tix. That's tix.utk.edu. That's TIX. The Rock says, go basketball Vols.
90.3 The Rock, Knoxville's original music pioneers.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from the UT Athletic Department. The 2024 baseball fall season runs February into May with games against SEC rivals Georgia, LSU, Missouri, and more at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Allvols.com. Students need to show a valid ID at the gate before entrance. Tune into Rock Solid Sports for UT baseball coverage, and The Rock wishes Coach Vitello and the Base Vols good luck on the diamond this season.
The Rock thanks the UT Athletic Department and the Lady Vols basketball program for their support. Coach Kelly Harper and the Lady Vols 2023-2024 home schedule includes games against Notre Dame, Ohio State, SEC foes, and more. Allvols.com. Student ticket info is at bigorangetics.utk.edu. That's TIX. The Rock says, go Lady Vols.
Hey kids, it's Derek
and Rob from the Funhouse.
Brought to you each Friday night by Raven Records and Rarities, located at 1200 North Central in Happy Hollow.
Join us each Friday as we kick off your weekend with classics from bands like The Descendants, The Stooges, My Morning Jacket, Mudhoney.
Newer stuff from Amel and the Sniffers, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Wet Leg, and Turnstile. You'll also catch some local stuff.
Hip-hop, Americana, metal.
Who knows? We don't even know half the time.
Every Friday at 8 o'clock, right here on 90.3 The Rock.
Hey, Jimmy from Out Loud Knox, how would you describe the show?
Music, blah, 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 blah.
The Funhouse is co-sponsored by your downtown destination, ScruffyCity.com.
Welcome back to Rock Solid Sports. It's Friday night. I'm Chloe here with Alli, and we got Jacquez and Jace over on the StreamYard. We're going to jump into some NFL really quick. Thursday night football, Rams versus the Saints, and the Rams beat the Saints 30-22. I feel like mainly for the most part of this game, the Rams were pretty much looked dominant the entire game. I want to know, how are you guys feeling about Derek Carr as a starting NFL quarterback? How about now?
I'd say 3 words: waste of money. I think they could have equal, if not maybe even a little bit better outcomes if they, threw Jameis in there, see what he's done, see what he can do. I mean, we've seen his potential. He's thrown for 5,000 yards in a season. Granted, he threw for 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions as well. But, he's a guy that's been tried and true. And I mean, with the guys like Kamara and Olave, guys that he can throw the ball to, I think he can really set that offense up for success that we really aren't seeing from Derek Carr.
Jacquez?
Yeah, I totally agree. You got Chris Olave. That's one of the top best receivers thing. Granted, he did have a good game. He went for 123 yards. But like I said, Derek Carr, I think he's on the back end ever since everything that happened down in back down to when he was playing with the Raiders. I just think that he's just on his downstream when it comes down to him playing. I mean, he's 32 years old. He's just not looking like how he used to when he was down in Oakland. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like Jace was saying, this team is similar, with Alvin Kamara and all those people. A lot of great talent, but it's they definitely was not looking good last night, and they definitely had their moments this season as well. So, yeah, kind of disappointing, I guess, but we'll see. I think we've already seen, but you get my point. Let's go into NFL this weekend really quick. A lot happening, obviously. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday games. That's Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day games. Let's start out. Let's do some locks and upsets really quick. Anyone already have theirs in mind? Maybe a lock at least.
Lock, I would probably say I'm probably going to take the Lions over the Vikings. That one is going to be on Sunday. I see them locking it up over the Vikings, and I think that might punch their ticket into the playoffs if they win that one, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that'll happen. As for upset, I think we see. I think we might see the Jaguars. Jaguars beat the Bucks. Bucks are favored by 1.5 at home against the Jags. I think the Jags can take that one out in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad one. Jacquez, any?
Locks. We're hoping the Miami Dolphins beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys is not good on the road. You know what I mean? Now the Dolphins was playing back in Dallas. I'll be a little worried, but since the Cowboys are traveling to the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins lock this up. Upset. I don't know. These teams that's playing on Christmas Eve ain't too good over here. But if I had to do an upset, I'm looking for the Bears beat the Cardinals.
Nice. Alli, did you want to do one?
Are we
No?
still
Okay.
talking Christmas Eve, or are we talking Christmas Day?
Any games
I mean,
that you're at least like interested in or watching?
I'm really interested in the Eagles on Christmas Day, and then obviously the Chiefs.
Nice.
I'm a 20-year-old girl, of course. I don't want to watch that one.
No, well, you're valid because they're still both like very good,
they're very
prevalent
interesting
teams right
teams.
now. So you're valid. I don't think Taylor will be there though. On
I
Christmas
wouldn't.
Day.
I mean, it'd be fun to watch her pop up on the screen, but I'm not watching the game for that.
Yeah.
If I want to watch Taylor Swift, I'll just pull up a music video.
Yeah, for sure. But
Wait, quick question.
Yeah.
Ravens or 49ers? What y'all think about that game? 'Cause that's probably the game of the week.
So the Ravens are already in the playoffs, like they're locked in. But that's definitely an interesting one for sure. I think the 49ers could do this. I'm gonna take the 49ers for this one. Yeah. That's my pick there, but I could see it going either way. It's gonna be definitely game of the week. It's gonna be a good one. Jace?
Yeah, I also think the Niners win. They're at home. They're clicking on all cylinders right now. I don't see anybody really getting in their way, as in, finding their way to the Super Bowl. I think they beat the Ravens by 10 plus on Monday.
It'll definitely be a good one.
Dolphins need a swim over.
I'm excited for the Dolphins game too. You never know. You never know with Dallas. But with that, we will wrap out the show. Thanks for listening from Alli, Jace, Jacquez, and myself, Chloe. We'll be back on Monday with some more things, recapping those NFL games. Or we won't be on Monday. That's Christmas. We'll be back on Wednesday, recapping all the NFL games, including Christmas Day. Stay tuned. The Funhouse is up next. You're listening to Volunteer Radio, 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
You are tuned to WUTK 90.3 FM, Knoxville, Tennessee. Proud to be Knoxville's musical tastemakers since 1982. And streaming 24/7 at WUTKradio.com.
Well, we want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do without being